Hello.
Let's go, my chérie. Monkey,
Does he want to drive the van?
Just driving.
Where have you been this morning?
We went to pick up your thingies that you got at the auction last week.
Excuse me, I think you bid on most of them.
You bid on most of them, actually.
No, I didn't.
I didn't have much control over that.
You lie. Okay,
So,
let's see what there is.
We have
Oh,
a pretty little sofa.
oh, isn't that lovely?
It's very pretty.
How old is that?
That's restoration, so it's first half of the 19th century.
Yeah.
We have a little buffet that's a bit more bashed up than I expected.
I really like it though.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
And we got it ever so cheap that though, didn't we?
It has very nice proportions.
Yeah.
And we have really nice Rotaron.
Those huge raw iron gatey type things.
Yeah.
Where's the lamp that you hate?
Oh, and the lamp is at the back. I must say I'm not completely convinced by that.
It was just a cheap one to put in that bedroom that doesn't have any lights in it.
Yeah, but it's not because it's cheap that you need to pay.
Yeah, but for the moment we do need more lights. And even sort of an IKEA one would be 40 euros. So this is 10 euros, isn't it?
So...
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
There are a few things wrong with
There's nothing wrong with that. Honestly. It's better than some of the ones in there already. What do you think, Clement, love?
He thinks there are wrong things about it. I really like the proportions of this buffet. It's quite narrow, and it's quite rare actually to find some narrow ones.
Yeah, and do you know what that'll be really good for? Is corridors.
Yeah, it's
because our corridors are just a bit. I remember when we were looking round when Francois and Fred owned the place, and they had loads of stuff in the corridors, but it didn't seem to narrow the corridors. So they must have been really clever with it. And I reckon that's the sort of thing we could put in a corridor and it'd be really useful and good size. I'm really pleased with that. That's a sort of folk art type one, isn't it?
Of what?
Folk art type.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's quite rustic.
Yeah,
it's quite rustic. There are some nice little carvings in the doors. It's not extremely ancient either.
19th century?
Yeah, probably late 19th, I'd say.
Well done.
But yeah, it's pretty.
Do you want to film, baby? Because he wants to do the filming.
You film? Oh. Coucou.
The day he can film will be a very useful day. What age do you reckon you can get him to film?
Well, from now apparently.
Yeah, but he just wants to point at his own face. Thank you. Even like when I'm wearing a tablecloth.
Yeah. A really pretty tablecloth.
So far, we've been showing you lots of little projects that we do, but actually that's not what takes up the bulk of our time. Most of our time is spent on huge infrastructure projects that we need in order to restore all of our derelict buildings and realise our final project, isn't it really?
And the main difficulty is that as there are big projects, we need to do everything at the same time, because whenever we dig a trench, we don't want to dig a trench just for one water pipe or one electric pipe or something. So we need to think carefully of everything we want to have and what we want to achieve. and yeah, so and put every possible pipes at the same time.
So it's never really a thing of doing one building or one room and making it pretty. We're kind of taking the entire estate up bit by bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
Which doesn't always lend itself to kind of a YouTube episode, because we can't do you a paint job on a room and then put some nice furniture in it and ta-da, we're done. What we're actually doing is Mark's spending 8 hours a day on a digger, digging holes or trenches or putting pipes in. And we have, we've got the main chateau, we've got several other houses, a load of barns, and our plans for all of them are to make a huge retreat centre and a working farm. And so we have to have sewage, running water, electricity, everything, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And what we also want to do is do it sustainably, partly for the ecological side of it, and partly because it's an awful lot cheaper and we can actually afford to run it. So we've been working on a big wood chip heating system that will be running off the wood from our forest. And what we're going to show you today is the start of a huge project to try and pipe the springs that are on the estate and use the water. The priority is the garden, but eventually we hope to be able to use our spring water in the entire chateau and on the rest of the estate. How many springs have we got?
We have at least 7 or 8 springs around the estate. We have a massive 19th century cistern, vaulted cistern. It's a beautiful building in itself. And we also have 2 other cisterns that were grain silos that were converted into water storage. We have ponds, ornamental ponds in the front garden that used to be used for storing water for watering the gardens. And we have a well. We have another buried cistern that we found by chance at the back of the house that had been transformed into a septic tank. What else? We have a spring with 2 springs with a little dam that store a few cubic meters of water as well.
Basically, we have a lot of water sources and water storage, but they haven't been used, some of them for centuries, and so we want to put them back into use.
Our idea is to pipe all these different sources of water towards the same point, so that we can redistribute it to any of the buildings and the garden, and also move the water from one storage to the other. So it involves an awful lot of piping because we need basically to have all the springs converging to the same point.
Yeah. And the big starting point, which is where we started last year, in about July, so not far off this time, is the 19th century cistern up on the hillside and the biggest of the springs. And this has all been a series of sort of garden archaeology and discovery, and we have just got to the point this time last year where we wanted to start trying to either find the old pipe between the source, the cistern and then the chateau, or lay new ones. And it's such a massive project, and we've been filming it for a year now, and I reckon it's going to make at least 3 episodes for you, and we really hope that you enjoy it.
I'm here in front of the big cistern at the top of the estate with the Herve, the stonemason. This cistern was used to be a major water storage for the estate, and unfortunately it fell into disuse after the previous owners abandoned the spring. We would like to pipe it again to get some water for the garden and the whole estate. But there's a little bit of work to do because there used to be trees growing alongside it, which means that there are big stumps that need removing because the roots were penetrating into the cracks of the cistern. So we need, for that we need to access the cistern with the digger, which is a bit tricky because we have a ditch over here, and it means it involves quite a lot of leveling beforehand. Qu'est-ce que t'en penses, Herve?
Ben, j'en pense.
Il y a du boulot?
Il y a du boulot, oui. Il y a du nettoyage surtout. Des nettoyages.
I'm going into the cistern to see the in which condition it is now. So it's I have to go down a ladder because that's a bit tricky. The cistern is about 2.5 meters deep from the door behind me and about 4 meters deep on the other side. So it sounds really cavernous in here. It's quite impressive actually. So overall the cistern itself is in a reasonable condition. Except for a crack along this side that was caused by the roots and the cisterns being empty for such a long time. And the other critical bit are the lintels above the windows. That need reinforcing because this caused a big crack to appear at the top of the vault. The crack itself isn't a big issue because the vault is held by the earth on either side of the cistern, but the outside walls need fixing, which is quite a big job. This is the window that's a bit damaged. The lintel used to be just a wooden beam, and it's rotten over the years, so it needs completely replacing. So we are going to replace it with a piece of girder that we removed from the old septic tank. This is the water inlet that fills the cistern, and on the other side we have a little hole, which is the overflow up there. So it means when the cistern is full, we have about 3 meters deep of water at the deepest part of the cistern. I can't wait for this big cistern to be completely full of water. We live in one of the driest areas of France, and water is a really rare and precious good here.
Oh, blow the man down, bullies, blow the man down.
To me way, blow the man down.
Blow the man down, bullies, blow him away.
Give me some time to blow the man down. We went over the bar on the 13th of May. Way, blow the man down. The caliber jumped and the gale came away. Give me some time to blow the man down.
What Herve is doing here is reinforcing the end of the cistern because it had really been damaged by ivy and roots from trees. So he's using a lime plaster. I'm completely banning the use of cement from old buildings because it really prevents the stone from breathing, and the stone ends up crumbling and being really damaged. So once he's done that, he'll put a second coat of lime plaster, but this time with natural pigment, which is basically clay. So that the cistern looks a bit more earth colored and not a bright white patch in the middle of the wilderness. So the problem he has is that there's no water supply up there, so I need to fetch him some water.
What are you doing, Marc?
I'm filling the cistern for the ranger.
Where's all that water coming from?
All this water is coming from the well down here.
Yeah.
Through a pump, and the water from the well itself comes from probably originally a spring, and now from these gutters as well, this one and this one. So that's quite a big roof surface,
Yeah.
which collects water at every storm. And there's a pump inside the well that I just fixed because the pressure control was broken, and so I just took it off.
You're very clever, my
There's
Cherie.
no pressure control,
Very clever.
but we have a good amount of water coming
Look
here.
at that!
So actually I'm going to stop it now because it might be a bit heavy for the ranger.
Because you've got to get up that steep hill, haven't you, to Herve?
Yeah, exactly. What I'm going to do, hopefully next month if I'm allowed to, is dig a trench from the well to the boiler room, and I've put a big pipe that I run in this trench to connect the pump here, so that the water from this well will go into here and then can be distributed in all the garden and the house and wherever you want.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Are you excited, Dudu?
I am.
Oh.
It took me, once I shook the pump, it took me maybe 5 minutes to fill this stone.
That's pretty impressive. All the
Already.
chicks want to get in there, look.
Yep.
I think there's a thunderstorm coming.
Yeah, in winter is too. When we cleared the cistern from the bushes, we realized that there were some big trees growing in the walls, and so I need to take the digger up to the cistern and try to uproot these trees before we can replaster the vault. I'm back at the cistern, so this is the part I need to deal with. The angle of the cistern had been dug out in the 60s to put a new pipe, and the problem is that they didn't backfill the trench, so the weight of the water was pushing the corner. So we had to do an emergency reinforcement by doing a lime plastering over this corner. And now I need to backfill this trench, and also we have loads of tree stumps that have been growing along the cistern that need to be removed, because otherwise the trees will grow back and the roots go into the cracks of the stones into the cistern, and it damages it a lot. So all this soil here needs to be removed, and all these stumps, or everything here needs to go. So I'm going to try and level a nice platform around here so that we can drive around the cistern and it's nice and flat and easy to maintain.
Voilà. Après ta fume normale pour finir.
So now we have a nice flat platform. Pardon?
Tu l'as filmé avant de travailler?
Oui. We have a nice flat platform and we can drive all the way around the cistern. Which means it will be a lot easier to maintain and to access.
Where are you showing me, ma chérie?
I am showing you the cistern and the work.
Oh, look at that! You ain't kidding, it's changed. That's amazing. It's amazing.
So what do you think?
I think that is very beautiful.
It won't stay like that.
But it'll be grouted though, won't it?
Yeah, it will be plastered actually.
Plastered.
Yeah.
But it won't be then covered, will it? It will stay down to the ground.
Yeah, that was the point.
Yeah.
And but it will be plastered because we can't just do the regrout because otherwise we'll have roots growing between the cracks. So we are going to redo the whole plastering.
Oh.
Can you notice a change since you last came?
Just a little bit. It was basically buried up to here, wasn't it?
What happened when you last came?
Last time I came, I saw a spider and I vowed never to come again. No?
Did you really?
Yeah, on the entrance door when you made me come and watch so that you wouldn't die when you went inside.
So you watched the spider rather than check if I died?
Yeah, well I thought I'd hear if anything bad happened to you, but I wouldn't hear the spider if it made a run for me.
It might do.
This is a very beautiful building. And so this is 19th century, is it?
I guess it is, yes, probably. It's not extremely ancient.
Oh look, you can see a nice view of the chateau.
I have a more beautiful view this way.
You charmer. Can you see it peeking through? Can you see it peeking through? I'm getting used to singing everything for doo-doo. Is it bedtime, Baba?
Can you notice a difference on this side?
Oh, yeah. It was really buried, wasn't it, before? Right
How
up
was
to...
it last time?
It was right up to the top almost, not? Did you dig all this out?
Show me where it was.
Well, it was dug right out up. It was... No. What? It can't have been. At least to here, no? There was a bank.
Yes, roughly. Yeah.
It can't have been any higher because there's moss there.
Yep.
Very impressive.
What we noticed is that as you said, it was buried to about here.
Yeah.
And above that, they had plastered with cement in the 70s. And the cement was, as they hadn't done it all the way, there were roots growing underneath the cement and between the stones. And so what we did was I excavated the soil that was here. No. There were a lot of stumps and things growing in here. That's why there are stones missing. So Herve removed all the cement that was loose. And instead we are going to do a lime plaster.
Nice.
Voilà. and we'll do it pink because I've decided.
I thought we decided ochre.
I decided pink would be prettier.
What about luminous?
Or apricot, since you told me it was a color.
It is a colour, and it's a bad colour. It's pretty. Oh, there's a spider.
Where is it? Where's the
It's
spider?
the spider that lurks in the doorway.
Oh yeah.
It's got a big body.
Hello, spider. Look what you do.
Push back.
That's a Pizora. Look, it's not happy. Look, that's the attacking posture. That was funny.